I woke up with a pounding headache, the kind that makes your bones feel hollow. The sheets were silk. The room was unfamiliar. And I wasn't alone. On my left lay a stunning, poised woman in her early 40s, soft brown eyes, perfectly brushed silver-streaked hair. On my right, another woman, slightly older, short platinum curls, olive skin, and piercing green eyes. Both were asleep. Both were holding me. I tried to move, but my hand felt heavy. I looked down and saw a gold ring on my finger. Not one ring. Two. I panicked. I quietly slipped out of the bed, my pulse racing. Where the hell was I? I grabbed my phone, Dad. No charger. No answers. Then the younger of the two women, Isadora, woke up and stretched. You're up early, sweetheart. Sweetheart? She kissed my shoulder, then leaned over me and whispered, "Last night was unforgettable." The other woman, Celeste, chimed in from behind, wrapping her arms around my waist. "And this morning might be even better," she purred. They weren't joking. And I still didn't remember their names. Or how I got here. Or why I was wearing a silky white gown that looked suspiciously like a wedding dress. Over breakfast, croissants and champagne, they told me I had married them both in a private, spontaneous commitment ceremony. "We've always shared everything," Celeste said with a wink. "And now, we share you." Apparently, I had walked into their art gallery 2 weeks ago, helped break up a fight between a rude buyer and Isadora, and ended up drinking wine with them that night. One thing led to another. They said I fell fast. Said I moved in. Said we eloped in a quiet seaside vow exchange. Except, I couldn't remember a single moment of it. I smiled and nodded, trying to hide the storm in my chest. They were charming, seductive, even tender. But something wasn't right. And I had a terrible feeling I wasn't just forgetting, I was being erased. That night, while they were asleep, I crept through the house. I needed answers. Something, anything, to prove I hadn't lost my mind. In the basement, I found a locked drawer inside an old filing cabinet. The key? Hidden behind a framed wedding photo of us. Inside the drawer, my passport, with the photo half-burned, a contract with my signature, agreeing to exclusive partnership, non-disclosure, and legal surrender of estate if separation occurs, and a journal I didn't remember writing, but it was in my handwriting. "I think I love them," one entry read. "I think they're lying to me," read the next. "Why can't I remember anything," was the last line. The next morning, I confronted them. They didn't deny the manipulation. They said I had wanted to erase the past, a past full of trauma I had begged to forget. They said I asked them to help me start over, and they did. "What you're feeling now," Celeste said softly, "is just fear. But love doesn't always feel safe at first." I wanted to scream. But then Isadora took my hand. "We didn't trap you. You chose this. Even if you don't remember, your heart does." I looked into their eyes, one full of fire, the other full of mystery, and something deep inside me stirred. Not fear. Not memory. But connection. So now I sit here, staring at the ocean outside our window, wondering what's scarier, leaving them and losing something I don't understand. Or staying and falling even deeper into a love that might be real, or ruinous. I woke up married to 2 older women. But maybe I was never really asleep. I decided to dig deeper, quietly, carefully. I waited until Isadora went to her pottery class and Celeste left for a gallery acquisition trip. I stayed behind, pretending to nap. That's when I found the business card tucked in my makeup drawer. Dr. M. Levon, Memory Integration Specialist, no number. No email. Just an address scribbled on the back. I stole Celeste's spare car keys and drove across the city. The office was tucked between 2 shuttered bookstores with no signage. No receptionist. Just a buzzer. I hesitated, then pressed it. A woman opened the door. Tall, poised, mid-50s, with dark eyes that seemed to scan my soul. "You came back," she said. "They said you wouldn't." We sat in her dim office. She didn't ask for my name. "Do you remember what you asked me to do?" she said calmly. "No," I said, voice shaking. She studied me, then pulled out a folder. My name was on it. Inside, journals, recordings, evaluations. All signed by me. You were desperate to forget. You came here terrified. You wanted to erase the trauma of your past. Your abusive ex, your sister's death, even your failed engagement. You said you didn't want to feel anything that made you weak. I covered my mouth, heart pounding. And them? I asked. Celeste and Isadora? They weren't strangers, she said. My blood ran cold. They were the ones who brought you here. Back at the house, I confronted them again, this time with the folder. They didn't deny it. We saved you, Isadora said quietly. You begged us to. Celeste added, we weren't supposed to fall for you. But we did. And so did you. They explained everything. They had both been clients at the memory clinic years before. Survivors of messy pasts, they became advocates for chosen erasure, starting over. They met me at a retreat hosted by Dr. Levon. I was broken, exhausted, angry. I had asked to be loved, but only if I could forget who I'd been. We promised we'd never tell you, Celeste said, tears falling. But you kept asking questions. Your soul remembered what your mind didn't. For days, I stayed silent. I walked through the house like a ghost, touching framed photos I didn't remember posing for. Listening to voicemails I had left myself, saying things like, trust them. Even when you want to run, stay. There's healing in this. But there was also pain. So much I didn't know if I could forgive. What was real? What was built on broken pieces I had buried? Could love be love if it began in deception? Even if it was mine? One night, I stood at the edge of the balcony, the wind cold against my skin, the ocean calling to me. And then two arms wrapped around me, one strong, one soft. Familiar. I know this is terrifying, Isadora whispered. But you asked us to hold you through the storm, Celeste added. I didn't leave. But I didn't stay blindly either. We went back to Dr. Levin's clinic, together, this time not to erase, but to remember. Slowly. Carefully. Pieces returned like puzzle fragments. A night of dancing, a shared painting session, a stormy kiss under a street lamp. I remembered their laughter. I remembered my own. And then I remembered love, not a perfect love, but one I had asked for. One I was finally ready to feel, completely. I woke up married to two older women. And for the first time, I finally understand why. The house had one rule. Never open the red door upstairs. At first, I didn't question it. But after weeks of half-memories, gentle gaslighting, and perfectly timed distractions, the curiosity began to eat at me. One afternoon, while Celeste took a nap and Isadora painted in the sunroom, I walked up the creaking stairs. My palms were sweating. The red door stood at the end of the hallway, glowing like danger. It wasn't locked anymore. Inside was a small room. No windows. A single desk. A locked drawer. And a monitor with a USB plugged in. I clicked play. A video popped up. It was me sitting in the very room I stood in. Hair longer. Eyes darker. This is a legal witness recording, I said on the screen. If I ever forget who I am, I need to remember this. Celeste and Isadora are not just lovers. They're clients of the memory doctor. And they chose me. Not because I was special, but because I was broken. My on-screen self leaned in. If I'm watching this, it means I've started remembering. It means they're losing control. I need to get out. I need to get out before it's too late. The screen went black. And the door behind me creaked. I turned. Isadora stood there. Her face was unreadable. I told you not to go in there, she whispered. She didn't raise her voice. That made it scarier. I needed to know, I said, heart pounding. She stepped inside. Closed the door behind her. We didn't lie. We just gave you what you asked for. Safety. Silence. A chance to start again. By drugging me? By controlling what I remember? I snapped. She stepped forward, hurt flashing in her eyes. You came to us. You begged us to make it all go away. And we loved you so much, we did it. Then let me leave. She paused. And then she said it. You already did once. You begged to come back. That night, I packed my things. I didn't trust myself. I didn't trust them. I just needed air. Distance. Truth. I waited until the house was quiet. I crept through the kitchen, keys in hand, bag on shoulder. But Celeste was waiting in the driveway. Not angry. Not cruel. Just broken. I knew you'd try again, she said. I don't know what's real anymore, I said, voice shaking. Then let me tell you, she said, stepping closer. You did leave. A year ago. And the world broke you. You came back sobbing, begging for the fantasy. Begging for the love without pain. So we gave you that. And yes, it was selfish. But it was real. I dropped the keys. I don't want a fantasy, I whispered. I want to choose. With all the scars. With all the truth. She stepped back. Then choose, she said. I didn't leave that night. I sat with both of them at the kitchen table. No secrets. No games. They handed me everything they'd hidden: photos, recordings, journals, reports. And we walked through it together. I remembered the breakup that shattered me. I remembered the overdose I swore never to talk about. I remembered waking up in their home, not for the first time, but for the third. And I remembered love. Messy. Risky. Real. I still don't have all my memories. But I have enough. Enough to know what was done to me. And what I asked from them. I woke up married to 2 older women. But this time, I chose to stay with my eyes wide open.